I'm not saying that comic shop is more precious, more important than anyone else. This is simply the mission we have chosen. So BINC, Book Industry Charitable Foundation, at the fundamental level, it is sort of the last line of defense, right? It's like when someone working in a comic shop need help in any way, and they have exhausted all other options, BINC is there. Whether this is because they need help in medical expense, paying rent, mental health, or myriad other things in real life that happens to people, BINC is there to help. One of the benefits of being a BINC board member, I receive a weekly update of this kind of success stories. And they come in the form of who we help and the feedback we get. And I look forward to reading them. It comes in every Friday. It's the first thing I read because it reminds us of why are we doing this, right? Because it's easy to get bogged down in the regulations and the spreadsheets and the planning and the strategy and the marketing and the social media, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But those Friday emails is what it's all about, because that's when we read, the staff and the board member read about, here's who we helped last week. Here's what happened. Here's why they needed help. And here's the feedback they gave us. And it's just incredible. I cannot think of anything else that lifts my spirits more than think that, we're actually helping people. This is great. I think comic shop contribute again in a couple different ways. From an economic point of view, it is a part of the local investment circle, right? They're paying rent, they're paying taxes, they're hiring, they're employing people, they're spending money on lunch and everything. And then you have the community aspect. You have people visiting comic shop as individuals, as families, with friends. And over time, you form like this community where people know your name, people know what kind of comic book that you're looking for, they're recommending things, you're discovering things. And I think that part of it is precious. Again, I'm not saying that comic shops are unique, but within the comic shop, part of the ecosystem, I think comic shops are really important. You want to watch movies, stream music, watch a live sports event. You can do all this sitting on a couch from your phone and never have to interact with another human being. And that's fine from a pure commerce point of view. I think it's really important for people to connect with another human being in real life. The wonderful feeling of some expert who can recommend things to you. I know we're talking comic shops here, but I cannot tell you how much I miss Radio Shack. I used to love to go in a Radio Shack with a bunch of questions, and they would tell me what to do. It was fantastic, and that's completely gone. Another way to think about comic shop is that they're the front line, right? They're the front line in a couple different things. Number one, they're the front line in that interaction with actually human beings, with consumers, with readers. And that's an important feedback loop to the artist, to the writer, to the publishers about what's happening, what are people looking for, what are people reading, what questions people are asking, what problems do people have. My personal favorite comics is the series Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I discovered it through the recommendation of a comic shop in San Francisco, Brian Hibbs. I was shopping at his store, and he was like, cool, you have to read this. I was like, all right, I don't know anything about it, and here we are. So, Look, I use e-commerce, right? So I am not like, I only shop at store. No, I use e-commerce. I use e-commerce when I know exactly what I want because it's convenient. Convenience is important in daily life. I am not disputing that. But I cannot tell you that for e-commerce, for me personally, I don't do any browsing. I know what I want. I want this headphone or whatever. I go buy it. You'll show up. But once again, in the store, you have a dialogue. You have a conversation. You're browsing. Or even if I don't browse, use your restaurant experience, I probably go to a store and go to the same section all the time. But that's where a good retailer would be like, hey, cool, can I show you something over here? With something that just came in. That's really cool. Or I've been reading that, or whatever. That's the kind of level of engagement. And then you have a conversation. How cool is that, right? This is a really difficult business and it's hard to survive. So companies are constantly being shut down, being acquired, merged, etc., etc. But once again, I think the industry is resilient. I think sometimes you need a little forest fire sometimes to weed out some of the non-serious players, some of the players that was coming in just to make money. They think they can speculate, get in and get out. I think that the people who survive are very serious. They're committed. They work hard, and some of them are still here.